Welcome back, y'all. It's another What You Own. I'm here with Janghajagne.
Yes.
If y'all haven't seen her already, this is a wonderful YouTuber, an inspiration. Content is positive, it's genuine, and it's unique. Tell them a little bit about yourself, your background.
Okay, my name is Janghajagne on YouTube, but my real name is Edgy Mary. About me, I'm a Gambian American Black Muslim woman. That's what my content is centered off of. Just aspiring to inspire other people through my identity, through my being, through how I navigate in life, as a Gambian American Black Muslim woman, because all of those identities definitely affect how I navigate in life. So
Exactly. That's why I asked her that, y'all. I know who she is, but I wanted her to touch on like her background and those things are identities, they're labels, whatever you want to call them, but
right.
They give you a unique perspective. I know, even though we grew up, 6 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
You have very different households. Her family, her roots, at least in here in on the U.S. soil, is fairly young relative to most people.
100%.
And then I know your household is different. So I kind of want to have her on here for a different perspective regarding gender roles and kind of what kind of gender roles you grew up with in your household and how they've influenced you as far as your outlook on just life and your relationships and stuff.
So gender roles. Where do I start? Where do I begin?
Right.
It's definitely a part of the culture, Gambian culture, African culture. Just the fact that women are expected to take care of the house, to do the cleaning, to do the cooking, to do the washing, to do all the domestic tasks that are in the house, and then men are expected to go out and make the money and take care of the house in that sense financially.
But how do you feel
about traditional gender roles? I'm not really big on it. I'm not really big on it because I just feel like we're in an age where that has died down. I feel like back then, especially in Africa, there wasn't much of a choice. Women were not educated. Women were not going to school. Women were not even allowed to go to school.
In Gambia specifically, or you're just talking about overall?
Overall.
Yeah, especially in Muslim culture. I just saw, it wasn't too long ago that women, is it in the UAE, they were allowed to get driver's licenses or something like that?
Yeah.
Is that kind of similar where it's to that extent where there's no really freedom?
Yeah, so there's a stereotype, and it's in Islam. It's Islamic culture.
Oh,
say that. Because you could be Muslim from anywhere, So I guess in Islam there's this stereotype of women being oppressed and not really being free.
Okay.
And it's really the opposite. And the religion is actually, women are really empowered.
Okay.
And we're allowed to do pretty much what we need to do, and men also are allowed to do what they're supposed to do, but they have it so that anything that's prescribed for us in Islam is really for our own sake and for our own benefit, and it's never to make it hard or difficult on anyone. That's never the case. So what I see in majority Muslim countries now is a lot of mix between culture and religion.
Okay, so that's why we have that image of this is how the religion is supposed to work.
Exactly.
Really, it's just this culture that's always been like this, imposing itself upon the. That's why I don't know if it's a quote, but people say Jesus wasn't against the church or religion. Well, he wasn't against the church or faith. He was against religion, the organized construction and the organization of kind of control and how you relegate people using religion. So I can kind of see how that people can put themselves into the faith and then the culture put itself into the faith, and now people think it's a certain way. So look, I learned something new today, y'all.
Sure. I feel like it's always mixed in, and that's what causes a lot of confusion. Right. The mixture of culture and religion, but really in Islam, it's just a matter of you being an individual. Right.
So as far as so you don't subscribe to traditional gender roles, you said. So I mean, how deep does that go? Are you paying on the first date?
That's a good question. So
She ain't even gave me an answer. I already know the answer.
No. Let me get there. So I personally wouldn't mind, paying on the first date. However, I would want whoever is, especially if they're taking me out on a date, to pay for it.
Okay.
It'll be different if I was taking you out on a date.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, here, I'm gonna take you on a date. Let's go out, and then I'll pay for it, type of thing. But like, if you are like pursuing me and trying to get to know me and things of that nature, I would expect for you to do the work.
Right.
But I guess when I think of like gender roles and that way, I'm thinking of the really like
the family, the household.
The household, yeah.
So what? So you feel like in your household, would you subscribe to those? I guess, would you want to be the main breadwinner in your family, or would you mind doing that at all?
I wouldn't mind being the breadwinner in my family, but I know just like naturally and humanly, like men and women are very different, and like our approaches, how we think and stuff like that. And I feel like sometimes men can feel a little undermined when the woman is like making the most money, or taking care. I don't know.
Because when women make more money, they let it be known. Like, first of all, you ain't even paying the bills around here. That's how I get. So that's why you feel undermined.
I don't know about that. I don't know about all that, but I just feel like naturally men, like especially alpha men, they like to take charge and like to take care of the house, and like I guess because of how society has made it seem like if you're a woman and you're taking care of everything, it's just like, why you doing that, you're trying not to mind me.
right I think
but it's really interesting. I mean, it's one of those things where you don't really realize how deep it is until like how you was talking about, like, paying for the first date, and it's just like, dang, well, what do I expect? What do I anticipate? And how far am I willing to like let go of certain things that I think is just supposed to be, unlearn certain things that I think is just supposed to come naturally. Because say for instance, like, and when I say gender roles and when I think of it in like a traditional like domestic type of way, I have brothers. And particularly I have one brother who I grew up with my entire life, and what I did around the house he didn't do. Especially in an African house. You will barely see a man being like forced to wash dishes or cook.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My brother, he barely did any of the chores. I literally remember Saturdays where that was when I used to do my chores.
That's a cleaning day.
That's a cleaning day where I would do every single household task by myself with my brother in the house.
That's crazy.
So, and this was like normal. Yeah. Because you raise the girls to learn how to cook and clean and things of that nature. Right. While the guy is just like in the house.
Chilling. That's crazy. I mean, I the lazy in me want to say, oh, that sounds nice, but for real, my parents didn't raise us that way. I think if there were girls in the house, it may have been a little different, but honestly, my mom always says like she's not gonna raise her boys to be men that rely on women. Exactly. Like there comes a time when if you're a child and you become a man and you're trying to date and you getting a woman around because you need her to do household stuff versus you getting a woman around because she adds value to your life, it's dangerous. So I think she made sure that we know how to do stuff, because I'm like, if I ain't have to wash dishes growing up, you know how happy I'd be. But I'd be like, why is she washing dishes and I'm not? Like, that just don't make no sense. We both here. And I'm pretty sure that creates tension between you and your own siblings. Like, I don't know.
Sure. I mean, it wasn't like I literally had to speak up on it, because I'm that type of person where I'm like, oh my god, okay, this is not fair. Like, what's going on? But then it did create some tension. But then afterwards, he started to be more, active and started to do more, and he realized, because he saw that what was going on. Like, I'm doing everything by myself, basically. And
he wasn't expected to do anything.
He wasn't expected to do anything, and it was just like maybe the basics of basics, like clean up your room, tidy up, that's your space. That's normal. Like, I shouldn't have to come and clean up your room for you. But that was basically what it was, and I feel like, especially in African societies, women like enable patriarchy, and they are enablers, for men, because they literally do everything for men and then complain about how men don't do anything.
Talk about it. I ain't say nothing. That's you heard what she said, right?
They literally you have the power to say I'm not gonna do this.
But I think okay, yeah, women do that, but I think on both sides of the thing, I think men can take responsibility. I think we both, like you said, men and women are different.
Yeah.
That we can take the responsibility of knowing, okay, my partner or this person is more inclined to enable. Mm-hmm. I think women in general are more inclined to enable and nurture, because part of nurturing is like, you still got to chastise, you still got to correct. And I think it's more difficult for women. Mm-hmm. But as a partner, as a you're supposed to be equal partners in things, you should step in. Okay, I know this is maybe a weakness to a certain extent, so I should step in and not allow her to enable me or my kids. So I think it's very difficult, but you got to check yourself. If you're the man or woman or whatever, however you identify, you have to check yourself and see, okay, what am I allowing? Like, how am I allowing stuff to go on? And but I don't like hearing people in general complain about things they can change.
Exactly.
Why y'all complaining about doing chores when you haven't said a word? So.
Exactly, literally. And I know I get like confrontation can sometimes be uncomfortable, but if you want to grow, you're gonna have to become uncomfortable. If you want to change some things, you're gonna have to become uncomfortable and have those uncomfortable conversations. Because personally, for me and my experience as a Gambian American, like I guess because I'm in between two cultures and like I do have that westernized type of perspective too and ideologies, but at the same time, like I do respect my culture. I respect my background and what people have done, but it's just certain things that just don't sit well with me, and like I speak up on it, and a lot of times I'm labeled as rude or like you talk too much, you're just supposed to listen type of thing, and be quiet and like kind of like dim my light when I know that I feel like I'm never asking for anything extreme, but it's more so like becoming aware of like your actions, like what are you doing, how are you adding on to my life, how are you contributing in the house, like what are you doing, because we're different people, we're different species, but we're people at the end of the day. Like you could cook, you could clean, you can make your bowl of rice. If you wanted to make your bowl of rice and sauce, you can make your bowl of rice and sauce. Why are you waiting for me to get up and make you a bowl of rice? No, honestly, guys, like I'm passionate about this because it's just like, what on earth? And this is just like the surface level type of stuff. Like we could get deeper into it and even think about like chivalry and breadwinning and stuff like that. But I'm just talking about like the basic of the basics, that literally that's what keeps the flame going. You know what I mean?
The small acts of love. I feel you. I just kind of want to have this conversation with Mary because she has a different perspective, different cultural background, so it's definitely shed some light on like how other people live. But like in my mind, I'm really trying to unlearn and like just really double down. Like if I say I believe in like people being equal partners in whatever relationship you have, like trying to talk to myself, having those conversations with myself and Kayla about, okay, how are we going to do this if we're supposed to be partners, who's going to split this and da. So even to the point now where I'm considering like, okay, why does she have to change her last name to mine if we both equal people coming into this, like we can both keep our names as is. Jay-Z and Beyonce still got their name. Everybody, famous people don't do that because their name holds weight. So if I feel like this person has significance, she's famous in my book, so why her name can't hold weight? Can she keep her name? You see what I'm saying? So I think you can be an advocate for breaking gender roles and everything in your own personal life. It might open somebody else's mind, but I appreciate you for being here today.
I appreciate you
guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Go ahead and look at her channel down below in the description. This has been another episode. I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
No, because I want to do something on your channel. I want to make sure you get 2 and I get 2 at least.
I don't even know what.
Well, we can do the know your worth on your channel. That's fine. You can have that. I think your parents are first generation, or you first generation?
I'm first generation, like, because I actually have a problem understanding first generation because my mom and dad, they were born and raised in Gambia.
Okay.
They came to America, but they became citizens. So technically, I guess I'll be second generation because if they're citizens, but they were born and raised there.
Yeah,
so
I think the generation is supposed to be like if you were born here.
That's how I see it too. But I remember talking to our aunt and she was saying, "Oh no, you're second generation." I'm like, I think I'm first generation.